She asked me trick questions. Like we were walking down the street the other day and a woman went by, she had a new dress on. I could tell she was a woman of my vintage. And she was very happy as she walked down the street. And I just said, "No, that's a very good-looking dress. It suits you." And my daughter hit me in the ribs. She said, "Dad, this is 2022. You just can't talk to women you don't know. It's a microaggression." I just looked at her and I said, "And how exactly do you think you got here?" And there was no swiping to the left. I couldn't swipe. At one point in my life, I had to approach a woman I had no prior history with and make noises from a hole in my face. We called it talking, and that's where you came from. I remember the first thing I ever said to your mother. I walked up to her, it was at the Improv, 1992, and I said, "I hope you're ready to take a mile, because I'm ready to give you an inch." She looked at me and said, I'll never forget, she looked right in my eyes. And she said, "Patty, do you know where to get any cocaine?" And I knew it was really love. Because I really loved cocaine. And so did she. And we've been married for 29 years. You can give it up now, come on. And I want to tell you, those early years, we were addicted to Quaaludes and cocaine and public sex. Now it's just a heavy addiction to Botox and the Hallmark Channel. That's what you have to go. That's what's down the road. Hey, and by the way, if the apps aren't working for you, may I suggest cocaine? Not bad. Not bad. I'm not going to tell you that. Look, I'm an evolved heterosexual, okay? I've been married 29 years. I know that no means no. I've been married for 29 years. I know that even yes means probably fucking not. That's a joke about how your wife doesn't, because she doesn't have to anymore. Millennials love to eat ass. I don't know if you've heard about this ass eating, but it's kind of a reverse of a blowjob. It's just another thing they do to get you and won't do once you get married to them. These germophobic millennials and Gen Zers are munching ass left and right. They have normalized heterosexual butt munching. Wearing 3 masks when it comes down to, what date do you say? Okay, like usually the third date in my day was it's now or never, right? And you guys choke each other. They choke each other in the midst. Just reach up and choke each other. What date do you do that on? It's crazy. I don't know how I could. I don't know how do you get consent? Because consent's, I came up in the 70s. A nod or a wink was okay. Right, we're right up. There was no. Consent was. You wanted to get a nod or something, or. Of course. That's what they invented Long Island iced teas for, I think. I had you, but I lost you. Hey, that's okay. Can I tell you a secret? I don't do this for you. No. And no matter how much you laugh, it's not going to fill the void inside me. No. I do this for me. It's true. Because I was a child catalog underpants model. I was. So that's why I have an undying need for attention at all times. Child catalog underpants model. My mother, I came from Ireland when I was 8 years old. My mother found out you could make money having your children's photographs taken and put them in commercials, and you got 3 times the hourly rate if they did underwear ads. So as a 9-year-old, I had to stand in my tighty-whities and smile constantly. Now, if you want to see an 8-year-old in his underpants, you have to go on the internet. Yeah, it's a different world. And, on the show business totem pole, not real high up. Not real high up. This is the totem pole, right? And around here is pimp rodeo clowns, right around here. Down here you have Elvis impersonators. Way down here you have Cat Williams antiperspirant. Right down here, catalog underpants model. Bottom of the stacks. You guys why don't you give yourself a round of applause? You've made it through. You've made it through. And, hey, and guess what? It won't get any better when you get up here. You're going to get exactly what you gave. So what I will say, hey, look, give Eric a round of applause. He's here. And Pete is back from the restroom. Did you wash your hands? Hey, hold on now. Yeah, and millennials, and Gen Zers, right here in this room, someone has a naked picture of themselves on their phone. And I think we know who that is, Pete. I think we know who that is. Listen, I'm going to share this with you. After 29 years of marriage, sex changes. Your sex life changes. After 29 years of marriage, my sex life is a lot like finding parking in Koreatown. Street parking. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I really, really appreciate it. And it's usually just easier if I pay for it. You guys have been rather mediocre. I couldn't imagine having done this without you, so give yourself a round of applause. I hope the most you ever get is the least you ever wish for. I love you, and keep it going for soon. Come on! You can find me. I'll be at the Giggling Pig. That's in Rancho Cucamonga Thursday night. I'm not in the show. I just stand out in front and ask for change. And later this evening, I'll be in front of the Red Box on Venice and Sepulveda. There's a 7-Eleven there. You can find me. I stand next to the change machine. You know the change machine, this Coinstar, and just ask people for spare change because that's where my career's at. You've all been beautiful, and I mean it sincerely. Keep it going. I'm Patty at Patty for Comedy. PADDYFOR. COMED on the gram, baby. Give it up for Sunda. Wow.
Patty, you teach people definitely how to do it right. I love you. You crack me up, and it's good to like spice up this with a little women power right now. So I'm going to bring up the women power, the one and only you. That's right. You, me. And let's give it up for the comedy of the one and only Iha. Say it, Rose. Iho. Hi, how you doing? What I was gonna do? Oh, yeah, that's right. So I'm from Japan. Japan's a fucking sexist country, pretty much. So you can say dick or cock or penis or whatever, like male genital on TV, fine with it in Japan, right? But if you say pussy, your career is over. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, Japanese people scared of pussy? Maybe. I don't know, like, so there's like really people lost their career just because they said pussy on TV on live. Like, really? We all have one. Like, is it that scary? Maybe. I don't know. So, California cockroaches are not big deal. It's nothing. They are fucking cute. If compared to Japanese cockroaches, oh, they are so cute. Like, California cockroaches never fly. Like, they're on the ground. Japanese cockroach fucking fly towards your face. That shit is scary. So, like, I feel like I can kill them like piece of cake since I experienced Japanese aggressive cockroach. I hate cockroach because they fucking fly in my face. Like, I hate it. But one time, I was on Maury, and I was with a guy, right? I couldn't like him until the end of the night, but I was like, come on, don't kill cockroach. Cockroach has family. You should love cockroach like human. I'm like, wow, I got over the fear of cockroach because of Molly, and then I didn't have sex with that guy in front of me. Like, what kind of drug was this? Like, I took drug to love cockroach for the night. That was interesting. So, how you guys sleep? So, raise hand if you sleep sideways. Sideways people? You sleep on your stomach? No one?
I do.
those people are a little weird, but like, why don't you suffocate? Like, I never could sleep like that, but who sleep on your back? All right, like, I used to sleep on the sideway, but somehow I aged and I couldn't support my own body weight. Then now I sleep like corpse. Like, I sleep like vampire about to wake up. Like, I can't sleep any other way. It's a mystery. So, my fear is weird. Like, I don't know why, but I'm scared of you watch movie or like TV show, at the end they say, oh, this story is fiction. It's not related to actual people or anything. I'm scared of that. I don't know. I know why, low key, because like, you know, TV show's fun, it was such a good time. Oh, it's ending, it's sad. Then pitch black, no sound, and this story is not, like, it's fiction. Like, nothing is real. Like, that separation made me scared. It's weird fear. And also I'm scared of, like, when there was VHS, at the end of VHS, they always have, like, cleaning sound. I don't know how it works, but, like, if you wait, like, 30 seconds, it suddenly began to, like, make sound like, I'm like, how does it good for the earth? Like, this shit is scary. Like, I don't get it. It was scary. I'm still scared. Like, core to my trauma, you know. I made a song, so, like, I don't feel like doing jokes, so I'm gonna just sing. It's a karaoke party now.
Yeah, of course.
So this is based on a song by Queen, We Are the Champions. It's We Need a Tampons.
Okay.
That was the important part. I couldn't say it. Whatever. I pay for my pass month after month. I've done my meditation and the communication doesn't help, so don't talk to me. And about period cramps, I'm about to puke. Ooh. And a breach and tampon to escape my puss, but cheaper than a breach tampon. Why the fuck makes sense? We need a tampons for free. And we breathe in pain till we get. We need a tampons. What was it? Unbleached, healthy tampons. No men deserve a pussy if we don't get free tampons every month. And then second verse supposed to be, we need abortions, but I haven't finished that part yet. I still have to write it down. How long do I have more? Am I almost done?
You get 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Then this is my time. Thank you. I'm Miho Fuji, so like you can find me on Instagram, TikTok. Miho Fuji, MIHOFUJI, like a Fuji apple, Fuji film, whatever you want.
Fuji. You're learning a lot about sex here, huh? You want to get with a Japanese woman?
I had yellow fever and I had a Japanese boyfriend. I bring it up every time I'm in front of her because I swear the mother talked about me in Japanese. And I know this because the dog would come after me. Now, he would. She would say, oh, look at Taro. And then she'd go, Taro. And whisper in Japanese and go, and come after me. There's a man outside naked in a blanket. We call it pigs in a blanket. And without certain people here, you wouldn't have a wonderful night because I'm not going to be able to put these lights on. I can't make it happen. And so I'd like to bring up our producer who's here, who's leaving us. Let's get up for the comedy of Ryan Benson. The countdown is on.
Going to the UK on.
I'm not leaving yet. Don't get your hopes up. I got a couple more weeks here, so until then, I'll make you guys stand through me talking. You know, I'm not really a comedian. I'm more of a guy who you can laugh at. I'll tell you a story just because, I don't know, I do this a lot. Let's see. So, have you ever been to a trap house before? Anyone here? They're cool. Yeah. I mean, there's like, there's like hood trap houses that you'll see where broken windows and stuff, kind of like in the city. I grew up by Chicago, not in there, so I didn't, get hurt. But I found there's a trap house we found, as you're driving through Tennessee, you find a lot of stuff, but it was a trap house a little more yeehaw than most ones. It's something that you wouldn't hear any rap song, just mainly Garth Brooks. And you kind of stumble upon it randomly. Me and my friend, we were driving down through. My mom was with us. We had a different hotel room, luckily. So around midnight, you do what you do, young 16-year-olds. You walk into a random, the bumfuck of nowhere looking for it. They only had a gas station. They had an Arby's. So that was good. But we had nothing to do. We weren't even old enough to kind of buy cigarettes and shit. So we tried to find people to do that. But in the gas station, there were I don't know, they were really old prostitutes. And I'm sure they were prostitutes. You can kind of tell, like this. It's like when it doesn't cover everything, it's not good. You shouldn't wear it. But, we avoided them. We were a bit too scared of them. Left the gas station. My friend walked up to a drug deal in progress. Not a good move. Luckily, they didn't try to shoot him. But they didn't do that. They were a bit nicer down there. They just got scared and walked away. And we were like, we want to find weed. How do we do that? So we walk up to a random car that has some girls look like our age. We're like, hey, do you have weed? And they're like, yeah. My brother's a drug dealer here. So we just immediately found the jackpot.
Okay.
We get in their car. We drive more into the middle of nowhere, which I didn't think was possible. So going down a dirt road, I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, maybe we could have thought this through a bit more. But you keep going, YOLO is kind of at this point what we're doing. So we eventually pull up to a trailer, not a trailer park, just one. And then, they go in, they get a blunt, smoking that. It's a pretty good thing. Probably my first blunt ever at that point. So, I was just taking just bowls, sad thing when you grow up and you learn weed. It's a little harder to get into it, but smoking a blunt, it's really chill. We look over, we hear and that was, literally what it sounded like. It was a mule. They had a mule, not a drug mule, just a normal mule. So I'm like, okay, I'm really somewhere new. But it was exciting to see a mule, like you're just getting high, or like, what the? But once I get there, soon to calm down, I'm not there yet. But we're having a good time. We're like just think it's gonna end there, or we're just like chill in their car for a bit. That's usually what you do when you're a kid. You just drive around and get high. So far so normal, but a mule. And then the brother comes out, and we start to get scared. We're like, oh no. We're like, we don't know. He's a big, little husky. So you could tell he definitely was fed well there. But he gets out, we were scared, and then he was like, hey, you guys want to come inside? And we're like, sure. So right when we get in, it's like I've never been in anywhere you would say it would be a trap house, but this one I would just consider it because everyone had an accent, even though they shouldn't. It's Tennessee. They definitely once you kind of cross into the backwoods of any Midwestern state, it really changes fast. And you know that for sure abortions aren't allowed there. But we get in, we don't judge, we're just touring, we're sampling. I'm sampling the nice Tennessee weed, and it's pretty good. We got a hookah out, and you just fill that with weed. So I'm with these random people that I'm pretty sure would be okay. Would say it's okay if you fucked your sister. They'd be okay with that. But we don't talk politics there. We just talk drugs, and then it's pretty disgusting in there. But they have a PS4. So that's cool. We're watching Storage Wars. You guys know that TV show? It's a pretty good thing to watch high. You're like, I just want to buy one of those things. One day, I'll buy one of those. But as we're chilling, getting highest I've ever been. It's probably around 3 or 4 in the morning now. We've been there for a couple hours. My mom still has no idea where I am. So I know she wouldn't be happy at that point. But, like I said, YOLO. So getting good. We're getting higher. More people start coming. And I'm starting to get more scared because, you get paranoid and stuff, the highest I've ever been. At that point, I'd only, be able to get a gram or two, but then we just bought, 10 grams from them. My friend was like, yeah, I don't care, we'll buy it. And then I was like, we're not going to be able to hide any of this in the car. So, I don't know, he figured a way, but once we left, they were like, we need to go back, get some Swishers, because one of them's older. So, we go back to the original gas station where we met them. Before we go to the hotel, and we're waiting, just high as fuck, thinking we just got away with everything, and we just like a big bonding experience with you and a friend when you just go into a random trap house and get high as fuck. So it was a wonderful time. But when you're just waiting in line, waiting outside, see a red pickup truck, old white guy, the big fat son, and he's definitely looking at some people. You know, it's at a come and go, but this one there's more coming and no going. Because there's a lot of just people chilling there, like 2 or 3 in the morning. There's nothing else to do in this town, so you just chill there. So like the normal teen hooligans are there. This old guy is really not looking happy at them, so starts yelling homophobic slurs at them, as I guess people do there. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I mean, I'm used to hearing it at me, but not at other people that I don't know. So once we're that, we don't know what to do. The girl that we're with, eventually, right when the other girl comes back in, that girl yells it back at him. The F word, the famous F word, yells back at him. And I was like, that's not a good idea. You don't know who he is. And then now I start getting scared because now he's following us in his truck. So now it starts to go downhill fast. Being a 16-year-old, high out of your mind, your mom's probably sleeping, assuming you're having a great night's sleep too. And you're like, I just want to go back to the hotel. And so now we're being chased. I'm thinking it's death time now, but the thing is when you're in the rural areas, it's safer to go to the suburbs, so we hide, a good cul-de-sac. Luckily, we get away with that, and we make it back to the hotel, shower, a ton of eye drops, and then an hour later hit the road. Mom never found out until she watched one of these. So she was like, what? But you learn and you grow, so, I like to just tell stories. Not all the time is funny, but it's kind of like, I want you to just be there, like look at me and go, what the fuck? So that's kind of what I hope you guys got from me. If you ever want to hear more stories, here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, running this whole operation until I go to London to do a conservatory acting program. So if you ever want to cast me for anything, no porn yet. I'm saving myself for a good OnlyFans once I find the right model. Thank you, everyone. I'm Ryan Benson. You can find me at ryan.benson on Instagram.
That was great!
Ryan, you should see a film called Deliverance. You'd enjoy it.
Dude, I'm laughing because when I was in Studio 54, I saw a horse shit when I was a kid. A horse was in there and it shit, and then I find out when I'm older it was Bianca Jagger on a white horse. I was telling the truth. I just saw it was like a horse, like out of nowhere. There's a horse, and they're letting me in, and I'm 15. And I could pass for 25 at 15. I looked really fucking old.
There's your cousin's ID.
No, my name was Fran Martin at the time. I'm Fran Martin, and I live at 410 Veterans Place, Clifton, New Jersey. I used to
work in New York, and we'd ask, what sign are you?
Oh, listen. I had that shit down. Because there was no pictures.
That's smart.
By the way, New Jersey was the last state that allowed photographs on their licenses. And so I just want to know, you guys have to go to the bathroom?
Yep, that's me.
I knew it. How did I know?
Yeah, it's,
I think she
grabbed both.
No, it's the one's right there.
Oh, cool.
You would think in one room that's so easy, but men are always like that. My husband gets up. Where's the cake? So you'll come in when I'm off. When you don't hear me, you can come in.
Oh, you want me to go up now?
No. He doesn't have to pee so bad.
I hope that was a joke.
That's what happens.
He's young enough where he has a choice.
He does have a choice, right? All right, but we all don't. And sometimes you say okay to the comedy of the one and only Andre. Let him hear you.
Andre!
All right, hello. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
Talking about Studio 54, New York City. I was just in the city over the weekend. I was there for 5 days. I was at Studio 54. I saw the new Tracy Letts play, The Minutes, which is like Parks and Rec if it was funny. Yeah, it was. It's funny, it's Studio 54, I didn't see any horse shit, but there's a lot of jizz on the wall still. It looked like a Jackson Pollock painting. Yeah. They're still getting good use out of it, a lot of mileage. Yeah. But New York's different. New York is, I thought people in LA were rude, you know? And I went to New York and LA people are, I think, the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life, I think. It was funny. I love New York, but I also, you know, like there used to be like cab drivers, the divide between the cab drivers and the Uber drivers, right? Yeah, that's done now. The cab drivers have infiltrated Uber, and I had an Armenian Uber. I'm Armenian, so the Uber driver I had was Armenian. He was like, he was still on his like Bluetooth, and he's like, oh yes, Betkuningatonka. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, I'm definitely down to support your cause. He turned around and said, you want to buy the Thor DVD? And I said, yeah, no, that's not the cause I was supporting. But New York scared the shit out of me. I forgot how serious people are over there, man. If you're showing up now, we're talking about New York City. But yeah, it was scary. It was, I was at TSA and I like hit my vape pen, right before. You guys do that, right? You just want to get a little smoke before you get on the plane. Just gotta lie and relax, take it easy. I got so paranoid the moment I saw those. New York TSA is like, it's the precursor for the CIA. They're like, take your hands away, put your bags over here. Sir, do not look at me. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And I was like, I'm so high right now. And there was a guy who, I don't know what year he was born, but he had never traveled in his life. He was just like, what do you mean I have to take my iPad out of my pocket? I can't take it through? And I was like, this guy's terrorist for sure. Like, he's asking all the right questions. So by the time I got there, I got so freaked out, I threw my pen away. I had no choice, But the funny thing is, I've flown so many times that I say, hey, listen, I'm not on the no-fly list. I'm cool, It's not me. If you can't tell, I'm not white, but I pass as white, and we're not going to even get into this because people get real riled up here in LA. It's like a Bernie Sanders rally every day. All right. No, but it was intense. They say, like, my buddies lived in New York, so when they came up from Boston, and they lived for 10 years, and I was asking him, I was like, what was it like to live in New York? And he said, I've been, you would see 50 crazy things just in the morning on the way to work. And I saw, I swear to God, a rat holding up a family of Germans in the subway. I was like, how did a rat get an automatic weapon? It was the real question. It's these laws, man. We gotta do something. But no, New York was awesome. I've never met so many self-important people at one time, and I was extremely impressed with just how confident people just kick down toddlers and kids on the way. It was just like, old people, get out of my way. Like, boom, I got somewhere to be. It was intense. I learned a lot. I felt like I aged like 10 years. How are we doing on time? Okay. So, I could talk about New York forever, my God. But I'm not, because you guys don't care. I can see that. I'll be honest. Coming back, I sat next to this beautiful girl on the flight, and I didn't talk to her for the entire 5 hours because I was high. And I was like, this is, gentlemen, you'll agree with me, you don't want to make a fool of yourself. First impressions are everything with the ladies, okay? You gotta wait for that high to wear off, then you can start making sentences happen. Because that was me. So I wait till the very end, and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw you're reading this Martin McDonagh book. Like, that's funny. Like, I don't know many people that know Martin McDonagh. He's the Irish playwright. He had three billboards. You guys remember that movie? Yeah. He's made a lot of funny stuff. Really dark. He's like the Irish Tarantino. Check him out if you haven't. But anyway, so we started talking. We go outside, we go get our luggage, and we head back. And she's like, oh, I got to call an Uber. I'm having a hard time. I'm like, well, we actually need to take I went to LAX. You take a bus from LAX to LA Exit, where you're supposed to go. And it's ridiculous, unless you have feet, of course, to take the bus in LAX. But we did, and we were about to. And she's just like, my Uber app's not working. And I was like, well, how old are you? Because what, don't know how to use the Uber app? Like, who am I working with here, right? Like, I was a bit worried. I was talking to a 17-year-old, and it's a bad look. You guys know. So I was like, unless you're 17, then it's cool. Everything's cool when you're young. You turn 18, it's just like, hey, don't talk to that girl. So anyway, I was just like, oh, she's like, I'm 24. And she's like, how old are you? I'm an idiot. I said my age, which is 24 plus 10. And so, no, I'm kidding. So yeah, I was like, I was like, yeah, we should go. Let's walk over. So we start walking over, and the buses. There's no more buses coming. They just keep passing us. So everybody, they start following us. I'm like the Armenian Moses, and she's like, wow, look at you. Like everyone's following you. I'm like, yeah. I was like, so where do you live? And she's like, I live in West Hollywood. I'm like, I live in West Hollywood. What a small world. When I say we, you guys say ho, okay? We, ho, we. All right, enough slut shaming. This is a safe space, guys. But anyway, so it turns out she lives down the street from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right. Totally feel safe, right? You know? She was like, cool. And I was like, cool. I was like, why don't I call a cab? I'll call us the car, okay? And so we get in the car. It comes, and she's like impressed that I know how to use the app, you know, because she's a child. And we head over and we start talking. I'm like, so it turns out she's a writer. She has her MFA from USC, and she's an agent trainee at one of the agencies. I was like, look at that. That's why I waited to talk to her when I was not high, so that I could make sure I didn't mess up this huge opportunity for me. So we're in the cab, we're talking, she's finding out I make jokes. I'm trying all the New York material on her. She loved this one especially. I said, I can't survive in New York on a diet of pizza, falafel, and cocaine. I mean, that's unreasonable. She's having a good... You guys don't like that? Okay. All right, see where we're at. This group's a little bit more family friendly. So I'm like, okay, no problem. We get it. So I asked her, I'm like, what kind of shows do you like? What made you want to be, like, a writer in this business? And she's like, oh, I love murder. And you guys know that? Talk to your female friends, fellas. They're watching shows about murder.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, why murder, you know? Why specifically for you, though, murder? And she's like, well, you know, I like to know if I'm going out with a guy who might be a sociopath. And I was like, that's oddly specific, you know? I kind of look like a sociopath. It's true. I think that's my group. It's not a bad grouping, gentlemen. By the way, if a woman calls you a sociopath, it's a good one. You know, you got Ted Bundy, good-looking guy, right? Patrick Bateman, fictional good-looking guy. And me, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'm desperate here. So we're talking. She's like, oh, I love murder, and murder's so fun, and like I really like to know the guys I'm dating, and I get it. And so I was like, hey, I think this is going so well. We should go out together. And then she's like, you're 31, right? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, I just got out of a relationship, and I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna work out. And I was just like, wow. Yeah, I was appalled. I was, because I think that we have higher standards, you know, than that. That we have to look at somebody and judge them by their age, right? I don't have a punchline. That just really got to me. It's all right. When we pulled in, and I was like, no, the driver was like, keep going, show her the gate and the pool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, make sure she sees it all. Yeah, that went well. What else? Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? Women and their signs, right? Like these signs, right? It's witchcraft. You know that, right? The Bible says that whatever the signs, it's a sign of the devil. It's but it's funny because you can't do that as a gentleman, as a man. You can't say, oh yeah, I'm a wizard, you know? Unless you're at Comic-Con, maybe that works pretty well. But it doesn't work. But when a woman tells you, like, I'm a man. I'm a nice guy. I'm a Sagittarius, which means I'm a liar. And most women know that once they get to know. In 6 and 7 weeks, they figure that out. But yeah, it's just like, I think like we gotta just do. It's just like a double standard, you know what I mean? Like, we should be allowed to have stupid beliefs too, right? Like, if I'm a wizard and my girlfriend, we go to Comic-Con and I'm trying to use that line and she's like, oh, by the way, I slept with that guy that looked like Superman, I'd say no problem, it's not a big deal, but we gotta get that erotic abortion, okay? Because that's what we gotta do. Anyway, that's my time. Thank you guys so much for being fun. Give it up for your host, Sunda. Doing a fantastic job.
Coming back to New York.
I'm gonna have no choice.
You're gonna have no choice.
Don't flip your wig on the way out. Where are you going? Oh, that's okay. I thought Johnny B just walked in. I'm kidding. Hello there. So, you know, there's going to be a replacement situation here, but don't worry, we still got you covered. And so, luckily, we're going to be pleased to bring to the stage you divas. Get ready. It's only one Pete Rivas. Let him hear you.
All right.
Come on, Pete.
Thank you. It's Peter Vivas.
Vivas. No?
Vivas, not Rivas.
I said Vivas. No? Rivas.
Except Rivas.
It's in my phone wrong.
Something. I gotta talk to your phone. My name is Pedro, though, but I go by Peter because how many great Pedros do you really know? Actually, I'm trying to think about it. That's a Napoleon Dynamite. And Napoleon Dynamite carried Pedro on his back. Let's be real. With the dance.
Whoa.
I'm an astrology bitch. I also like astrology. I'm into it. I like to act like I'm not into it, but I'm coming out. So, but being Hispanic, I'm not ashamed of being Hispanic. I used to I think maybe I was a little bit, but now I'm not. I've realized it's benefited me a lot in social situations and being able to speak another language and roll my R's. Being able to say carro, for some reason, just brings me much attention from women. So, American women, which are the most dangerous, gentlemen. American women are the most dangerous, especially to Hispanic men. Got into that. I'll write a joke about that one day. But, you know, I got told that I use women for sex, you know, especially by American women. And it's not entirely true. You know, I don't only use women for sex. I use women for intimacy and communication and not looking gay when I walk into Bed Bath & Beyond. I like to enjoy myself in there and smell these scents that are just unnatural fragrances. But I grew up with a porn addiction, I think. I mean, I was watching porn for a long time, so I'm gonna call it addiction because I haven't stopped. But I talk to women as if life moves that fast, you know, and it's dangerous. So one time I was hitting on an attractive mother at the gym, and after some chatting and smiles, I said, "How about you give me your phone number?" And she laughs a little bit and says, "How old are you?" And to me, I'm already getting engagement. She's talking to me. She's been talking to me. I just asked for her. My heart's beating. So I'm like ready to go. I'm thinking she's ready to take a ride with me after that little giggle. So I respond with the only answer I know how, which is old enough. Yes, you do not want to say your age. That is the thing. The mystery. So she's there, she's having a good time, and then my porn addiction, my inner pool boy comes out, because she's basking in the sunshine of my hilarity, you know. So I'm about ready to think she's done, she's ready, like she's hot and heavy, she's older, so she's probably not getting it, right? I don't know how it works. I know now they get it. They get it. At that time I didn't. So I said, how about we get out of here right now? And I'll go over for a cup of coffee. Excuse me, gentlemen. She was quite offended. She did hit me. A little slap. And you know, like when you're a kid, parents tell you that when other kids hit you, it's because they like you. So I'm just encouraged to continue. And so I look at her and I say, "We leave now?" And she proceeds to shame me, saying that if she was to cheat on her husband and leave her kids and blah, 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 it wouldn't be with me. And because I'm too young and blah, blah, blah. So that hurt. So I got a girlfriend instead. So it was cool. I like having a girlfriend. You know, I just flew her out to LA. She's in Texas. We met in Miami. It was pretty romantic. Thought I'd take her to come out. But I didn't do it because of just the romance. I did it because it's a full service. I've run up quite a bill of credit card debt while I've been out here, I'll tell you. I have to work like there's no tomorrow. Trying to find peace and calm like you do in the womb of a lovely woman that you care for. Remember, you have to care for. You can't use people. Learned that the hard way. But, so I said, this $700 investment brings me a therapist. She brings me a roommate. She brings me someone to talk to when I need to eat. She's a sex worker, theoretically. It was fun. It was great, actually. It was fantastic. I've been so alone out here. And it really feels good to be with someone that you care for. But you get what you pay for. Right? So frugality does have its it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. But you have to be grateful every single day. Because when the gratitude begins, the suffering stops. Right? You ever heard that? Hear it, remember it. Put it on your hand. Remember it. Say it every day. So, but I've been grateful for a long time. For odd things. And, well, I remember one time when I was in 7th grade in Coach G's class. And Coach G had, he had a really good way of getting engagement from students. He'd like do all these activities, because you can only get kids to do so many squats and sit-ups in 7th grade. So he said, for like, you know, it was around the week of Thanksgiving, and we're going to write down all the things we're thankful for, right? On a piece of paper and put it in a pumpkin, you know, all the seasons, greetings, and occasions. And so we're all in this class, probably 30 people in this class. And so we're all being thankful for all our individual things. And for some reason, my funny bone decided to kick in. I wanted to write something that would get the attention of the greater majority of the class. Particularly the girls, but... And I don't know, the first thing that came to my head was probably the most interesting. And so I decided to write it down. And so once all the papers are collected and the pumpkins, he counts his Coach G, he says, you see the family that they're thankful for, you know, their dogs that they're thankful for. And then he sees one that startles him. He looks up, he looks at the class, and he says, who wrote this? And everybody's quiet, and I'm just dying to know if it's mine. Because I don't know who else, because I overestimate other people too. I think anybody else who thinks they want to be funny, they're going to be funny in that classroom. So I'm like, who else did this, right? Who else was in this? But it was only me. I was the only idiot to do this. And so he said, who wrote this? And I was waiting. Who said it? What is it? And so after around 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 6, 7, I just stand up because no one's saying anything. And I say, I am grateful for my big dick. I said it. I wrote it down. But, you know, I had to learn how to get attention in better ways. Because that was really, imagine if I did that in a corporate office. That's social training for you. 7th grade? I'm glad I learned it then. My little brother showed his penis. Stood at top of table and started wailing in 3rd grade. 3rd grade. Thank goodness it was 3rd grade for him. He's doing okay now. So, but I had to get attention in unique ways. And you know, what better way to get attention when you're a kid than at the lunch line and getting the extra items? So I grew up Hispanic, so by virtue I was poor. And so I decided to steal $100 from my grandmother and take it to lunch and buy my friends and my people who I wanted to get, notice me. I was gonna buy them ice cream, sodas, so I decided to hold up the line. I was there in line. Miss Sotolongo, the lunch lady, was looking at me. And I just say, hold on. I'm looking, I'm waiting for the next class to go, and she's kind of like wondering what's going on. And I'm like, just wait. And I pull up my $100 bill, and I go ahead and say, everybody get what you want, it's on me. Everybody's cheering. Everybody's super excited because they're just getting these like cheese sticks, regular marinara sauce, just like public school lunch. Now you're getting Sun Chips, Doritos, Coca-Cola. Everybody's excited. I tell Miss Sotolongo, you get yourself some too. We're running this place dry. But then throughout all the excitement, I go back to my table. I'm the coolest guy there. I'm sitting with all the girls. I got my ice cream. She comes up behind me and says, Peter, we need to talk with the security. And it turns out that $100 bill was fake. Okay. And that was a tough moment in my life, being a Hispanic kid who was poor. Because not only was I Hispanic and poor, but now I realized that I was truly and utterly a fraud. My name is Peter Vivas. You can find me on Instagram with Peter Vivas, PeterVivass. I also have a YouTube channel where I do a bunch of other things to try to create shit.
We got you. We got you here, Mr. Vivas.
You're on the list.
You're on the list. You're in trouble. He's on the list. I know he's coming up.
Oh, wow.
I just didn't have the name.
Ah.
JD.
And that's how we're leaving it?
Well, JD Stewart, yeah.
Stern?
Stewart.
Stewart, okay. Well, sometimes we're going to do this, and we're going to do it right. And you knew it, because we're here with J.D. Stewart. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you. I did not know I was going to be doing this till 5 minutes before. That's why I'm wearing shorts. I just got back from college, so I guess I'm going to have to be doing the things that I've been putting off, like DMV or going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor. There's just something about having a 72-year-old man tug on my balls while I try and hold back an erection. It always starts out like, oh, that feels kind of good. I mean, gross, disgusting. Dude, hurry up. Actually, you missed a spot. Yeah, dude, it's always weird having like the geezer tug on your balls at the doctor. They never find anything. I don't know why we do that. I had to do it a few weeks ago and it was strange. It was especially strange considering I was at the dentist. Yeah, dude, he told me if you keep coming back, eventually I'll clean your teeth. Yeah, dude, when I'm at the doctor, I definitely don't want it to look small, but I don't want to have an erection either. I feel like the best strategy is to find some kind of like middle ground. Or at least that's what I'm telling the kids these days. There's no school around here, is there? Okay. Or Chuck E. Cheese. Pedro, you were talking about porn. I got in a huge argument with my girlfriend about porn. She basically told me, you need to stop watching porn immediately or I'm going to leave you. I told her, hold up, watching porn is not the same thing as cheating. Why do I need to stop watching porn? She said, because this airplane is very crowded and everyone is staring at you. For the record, I did not stop. We compromised. I put my dick away. It's weird doing this in front of my dad.
Got one.
I also,
At least your mom's not here.
I also worked as a teacher's assistant, but that's not really what I was there to do. What they told me is like, look, kid, you're young. We have this really troubled kid. We just want you to like relate to him and get him to behave. And so I went up to him and like, Hey Theodore, I'm JD. Nice to meet you. You like what do you like to do? You like sports? What do you like to do? And he said, my favorite sport is basketball. I'm the best shooter in the whole school. And I was like, oh my God, Jesus, kid, do you know what? Are you watching the news? You can't say that. Like, dude. He's like, no, it's true. There's a hoop on the door. I love to practice shooting in the classroom. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, change the subject. Do you have pets? Do you like animals? You have pets, right? He's like, well, yeah, I have 5 cats. I buried them all in the woods. Oh my God.
Oh, no.
I was gonna ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? But I think I already know the answer. It's like, hey, Theodore, what's your last name? It's Bundy? Yeah, figures. I've also been having trouble sleeping recently. People have been telling me, like, bro, you gotta try sleeping naked. Like, it's so comfortable. You'll sleep like a baby. And it's like, bro, I've been sleeping naked for years. It's just, for me, it was never about comfort. For me, it was just how I stopped people from sitting next to me on the bus. It also happens to be why I'm banned from Uber. That's all I got. I didn't prepare at all. I've never done this before.
Where can they find you on social media?
I don't have social media.
No. Tell them your name again. They'll find you here.
My name's JD Stewart.
See you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at Bo. There's that Joey's done. Boom. He did it. He had time check real quick. I gotta run. Okay, I got time. Because I want to see this guy. Because he came all the way here to be silly, and he came from a place called Philly. So let's bring him up here. The comedy of the one and only Eric Kwasniak.
Yeah!
Sorry, I'm just so distracted right now. Just thinking about my inner pool boy. His name was Hector. Christmas 1989. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's just monster cock. And I'm sorry, it was a long time ago. You just can't duplicate that trophy. I don't know, it's just... It's all up here, though. You know what I mean? And now it's out there. So that's what this stuff does to you. You know what I mean? Anything that was stored is now released. And anyway, my name's Eric Kwasniak. Kwasniak is my last name. Yuck. Yeah. So if you're born with yuck in your last name, you're pretty much destined to fail. And anyway, I am from Philadelphia. I don't know if that town across the country, it's a blue-collar town. Philadelphia, it's where alcoholism was invented. The 2 rivers surrounded the Pabst Blue Ribbon River and the Coors Light Creek. Okay, that's where I was born, on a dead-end street across the street from a junkyard. South African, Ukrainian kid, mixed race, dead-end street, junkyard across the street. I spent my childhood watching Chevy Nova's rust, okay? Childhood. I was black or white, depending on how much I had in my checking account. Okay? Happened. I was bullied daily by these Irish kids. That's what happens when you're mixed race and have mentally ill grandparents and you're queer. It's just a perfect recipe for being bullied. That's what happened. Just a very dysfunctional family. I ate pierogies stuffed with denial, okay? That's what I ate, yeah. Black and white, dead-end street, junkyard across the street. And, I went through, like, all these different phases, I was... no one ever knew, because there's not a lot of South African Ukrainians in the United States. You know what I mean? It's not very popular. And my father said, when you move to Los Angeles, just tell them you're a Jew. And so my last name, I changed it to Kwasnistein, and that's what's happening. Because I'm gonna break through, man. Now, but and then I was Puerto Rican. Then I was Puerto Rican when I moved to New York, and no, there's something about you. I think you're Puerto Rican. I don't know. Milagros, I think he's lying. Because he looks really Puerto Rican to me. And I know that you know how to speak Spanish, so don't lie to me, okay? It's like, Milagros, I'm South African and Ukrainian, okay? What the fuck is that, all right? The fuck? He's Puerto Rican. So I started to hang out with the Puerto Ricans, you know what I mean? Because they accepted me, they loved me. They taught me how to dance, you know what I mean? The Puerto Ricans, they taught me how to move. We partied every night. Every night was a party every night, Monday through Sunday. We'd get drunk and high, and that was just Monday night, you know what I mean? But then I got really tired of the Puerto Ricans because I was tired of bringing my refrigerator to the beach. You know what I mean? And it was like, just how many fucking Coronas are in here, Milagros? You know what I mean? Just keep moving. Keep moving. We got an extension cord. So anyway, they would drink and dance and drink and dance and drink and dance. I became an alcoholic. They stayed Puerto Rican. Anyway, so that was the fucking deal with that, okay? But this is the thing. Look, trauma, man. Trauma. Let me tell you something. We're all affected by trauma in some way, shape, or form. Just wait. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. I used to run and hide with my violin underneath parked cars. I'd run and hide underneath parked cars with transmission fluid dripping in my face, hoping that I didn't get massacred. Okay? And you never know when trauma is going to hit you and smack you in the face. You can forget about stuff for years. I'm in fucking Jiffy Lube 6 months ago, okay? I walk in, I said to Hank, I said, something's wrong with my fucking engine, right? I said, there's stuff dripping all over the place. He says to me, he looks in, he goes, you got a cracked engine block. It's going to cost you $1,500. I started freaking out and crying right there, remembering me running from these fucking Irish bastards in Philly when I was a kid. So I'm crying. He says to me, listen, man, I'm a mechanic. I'm not your therapist, okay? I'm crying in the Jiffy Lube. Next thing you know, I'm finger painting in the psych ward, okay? You like my bunny? I made a bunny in arts and crafts. And let me tell you something about arts and crafts. And when we get older, nobody does arts and crafts. The only time you have time to do arts and crafts is in the fucking psych ward, okay? That's the only time. And I made a really nice bunny. It was beautiful. And so this is the thing. I'm having breakfast the other morning, I'm thinking about this cancel culture, This can't stop thinking about that pool boy. So it's just very distracting. I don't know why he had to bring that up. You know what I mean? The whole Latin thing, the whole thing with the thing. Anyway, sorry. So I'm thinking about cancel culture. I'm having breakfast the other day, right? And I'm thinking, when do we stop? I can understand that there are people in the past that should not be honored, Okay? There are people that maybe there's statues. I lived in South Africa for a long time. They toppled statues of racist men that, you know, and they did that. They've done that in certain cities where there's certain things that just, we don't need to honor certain things or certain behaviors. But I want to know, as I pulled out that old bottle of Aunt Jemima syrup out of my closet, out of my cupboard, for my pancakes, and it was an original bottle. What did she ever do? Okay? What did this woman ever do? I sat there and looked at her staring at me. I felt really sorry for her. She could not move her hands. They were glued at her side. She could not defend herself, okay? Leave this woman alone, okay? She was a little plump, okay? Let's not pick it apart, all right? She had a lot of sugar inside her bottle, okay? And, you know, and the thing is, all she ever did was dip and pour, dip and pour. That's all she did her whole life, is just dip and pour. And we have to cancel her. I sat there and I thought to myself, leave this woman alone. Because as I looked at my box of Captain Crunch, and I looked at the fucking captain on the front of that box, this is the slave owner, this is the bitch that's gotta go, okay? Let's get rid of this motherfucker right here. You know what I'm saying? So nice talking to you. My name is Eric Kwasniak. You can find me at Eric Kwasniak. Kwasniak, if you can spell it. Thank you.
That was tremendous! Eric! Wow, that was tremendous. You see what happens when there's no interruptions? Are you coming up here for a minute for just say hello?
No.
Why?
Maybe next week. I just came to support.
No, you came up and sit next to her. Don't even try. Yeah, I know these other white people. They don't know you.
I gotta prepare.
They don't know you. We're gonna make him get him into sex trafficking this one. Can you imagine? My kids would get so mad if I make a joke like that. Every day I'm called a racist homophobe. Now, is that the craziest thing for a woman who dated just gay men? A black woman who dated gay men? Come on. And you know how you know when they're in the mirror longer than you. That's the first clue. Eric, you were tremendous. Really. Thank you. Give it up for the Philly Dog. So some people tell you you're funny, you probably are, but you won't know until you take it from the page to the stage. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, coming in, doing all this. We coach here. We have podcasting here. As you can see, there's one for two, there's one for more. A lot of stuff goes on here. But
Acting camp.
yes, and we have a kids acting camp. And if you want a copy of your tape, please see your producer. And that's how it goes. So welcome to our world. I hope you had a good time. Thank you and good night.